What's going on, guys? It's Steve. Are the Boston Celtics title contenders now? And we're also going to talk about if they acquire Jimmy Butler or Paul George. Now, right now, are they title contenders? Hell to the no. They wouldn't even get close. They would probably get swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers if Kevin Love were healthy. They would probably get swept or beat in 5 or 6 games. And that's a fact, okay? Now, besides that, let's talk about if they were to get Paul George or Jimmy Butler. So the first thing to understand is, let's talk about Jimmy Butler first. Jimmy Butler is actually a 2-guard playing the 3 spot right now in Chicago because of Dwyane Wade. Now, the reason is because obviously D Wade's a starter and he's still a star player in this league. Now, Jimmy Butler does not do a good job on LeBron James defensively. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. He's not athletic enough. He's athletic, but when you're talking about LeBron James athletic, no one stands a chance. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. No one stands a chance in terms of being as athletic as LeBron James. So in terms of that, no. But offensively and impacting the game everywhere else, he's a great player. I think he's averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Phenomenal player. That's Kobe Bryant's career stats right there. That's close to Michael Jordan's career stats right there. I'm not saying he's as good as them, but I'm just saying. So all of these things come into play. Now you have to talk about Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a really good player. Really, really good player. Potentially the best point guard in the East. I would say it's actually John Wall, to be honest. However, when you look at Isaiah Thomas and you realize something, Isaiah Thomas is actually the worst defensive player in the NBA. He is the worst defensive player in the NBA. That is not good at all. We talk about Kyrie Irving not being able to guard players. We talk about Stephen Curry. At least they'd be able to at least stay in front of their player. And at least with them, they can switch to someone else. Isaiah Thomas would not be able to switch and guard Kyle Korver and have Avery Bradley guard Kyrie Irving. That would not be able to happen. The reason for that is because Isaiah Thomas is barely 5'7". I know he's listed as 5'9", but so many commentators have said this. He looks shorter in person. I've seen him in person before. The dude is barely 5'7". And that's a stretch giving him that. You guys know my friend Austin that's in my videos a lot. He is 5'7", 5'8". And that dude is like close to my nipple. Okay, that sounded weird. He's close to my chest. Okay? So Isaiah Thomas was like that. He's barely, come on, So there's no way he would be able to switch off and guard any other player. He wouldn't be able to guard J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith would roast him. On top of being short. So he's not just a liability on the defensive end just because he can't play defense. His height plays a factor as well. So he can't switch off, which leaves you at a crossroads because now you're screwed. What can you do to stop this Cleveland Cavaliers team? And the truth is that they can't do anything. The truth is that the Boston Celtics are a very overrated team. They're a really good team, don't get me wrong, but they're very overrated as well. Very overrated. They struggle not only defensively in terms of Isaiah Thomas, but they struggle on the boards with Al Horford. They struggle with health with Al Horford and Avery Bradley. They struggle. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, what if they were all healthy? Imagine how good they... Yes, that is true. But the fact is that they're never always healthy. Don't get me wrong. I've said Isaiah Thomas is one of the best players in the world. I love that guy to death. You guys know how I feel. I even made a video saying Isaiah Thomas potentially better than Kyrie Irving. And a lot of people said he's not. Some people said he is. At the end of the day, the Boston Celtics team is not as good as everyone thinks they are. Right now, without Jimmy Butler or Paul George, they'd probably get swept by Cleveland. They would probably get swept by Cleveland or defeated in 5 games. And that's a fact. And that's assuming that Kevin Love is healthy. Okay? And even without him, they'd still probably win in 5 or 6 games. That's a fact. Now, if they were to get a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler to help defensively, because these two are very versatile defenders. Now, they're not as versatile as like a D Wade in his prime or LeBron in his prime or Kobe in his prime, but they're still versatile. They can guard 3 spot, 2 spot, potentially to 1 spot maybe. Now, the only thing that sucks about this is, again, Jimmy Butler does not do a good job on. The thing is, no one can do a good job on LeBron. It's not just Jimmy Butler. It's no one. We talk about Kawhi Leonard being one of the best defensive players in the world. However, LeBron shot 60% from the field, 50% from three, and 80% from the free throw line against him in the 2014 NBA Finals. The finals that Kawhi won Finals MVP because he did such a good job on LeBron. The fact is that D Wade and Bosh didn't show up. The fact is that LeBron still averaged 28 points per game on 60% shooting, 50% shooting from three, which is ridiculous, and 80% shooting from the free throw line. It's ridiculous. Okay? So the fact is no one can slow down LeBron. I don't give a damn who the hell you are. No one can slow down LeBron. The fact is that if they were to get a Jimmy Butler or a Paul George, that would change the Eastern Conference. Hell yeah. Because now I would have no question that they would meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But now I have questions because I don't think that with the Toronto Raptors picking up Serge Ibaka, with Jonas Valanciunas, and DeRozan is healthy now, and Kyle Lowry is doing this thing, there's no way in hell the Boston Celtics can beat the Toronto Raptors. The Boston Celtics would get killed on the glass, assuming they're healthy, would get killed on the glass. Isaiah Thomas, he would not be able to switch off. What is he going to do? He can't switch off and guard DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, first of all, is not even a three-point player. He's a mid-range player, and he drives to the basket, so that would be easy buckets for him against Isaiah Thomas. Kyle Lowry is strong as hell, taller than Isaiah Thomas. He can shoot the ball. So I'm not saying Isaiah Thomas sucks. Just keep this in mind, guys. I'm just saying defensively, he's the worst in the NBA statistically. So all of these things come into factor. And the thing is I know they have Avery Bradley, who's a great defender, and that he's probably going to be guarding DeRozan. However, or Jay Crowder, depending. They wouldn't have Jay Crowder if they traded for Paul George or whatever. Or this is without Paul George and Jimmy Butler. I'm going back and forth, but you guys can stick with it. Assuming that they don't have Paul George or Jimmy Butler, it's Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder or Avery Bradley would be guarding DeRozan, right? So that would mean Isaiah Thomas is going to have to guard Kyle Lowry, and this is assuming that Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan don't choke in the playoffs like they did the last 2 years and shoot 30% from the field for some reason. That's assuming that. So I don't think, offensively, I don't think the Celtics could keep up. And defensively, they wouldn't be able to keep up, especially on the boards. So there's that. Now, the Washington Wizards, I think the Boston Celtics could beat in 6 games. The only team I think the Boston Celtics cannot beat, besides the Cavaliers, are the Toronto Raptors. Anyway, guys, and obviously if they got Paul George and Jimmy Butler, I think they would beat every team except Cleveland. I think they'd still lose to Cleveland, but they would be in that next step. Or who knows, maybe they would upset. You never know in this league, man. Anyway, guys, it's been Steve. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out. Peace.